Hey EDN 5040, it's Karen Granger. I wanted to check in. I wanted to talk about some components of the course. I encourage you to kind of stick through the video. I'm hoping it's not too terribly long, but there are quite a few things that I want to talk about given where we are in the semester. So I'm going to be looking back and forth between you all and my computer just to make sure that I am covering it. We are entering the week of June the 10th, which by my collection is the fourth week of the semester. Thus far, you have done your introductory videos and responses that have all been graded. It was great to meet you all, great to hear your perspectives about where you are in teaching. And then really my suggestions were to dig deep. As you're responding to peers, think about ways that you can make connections, think about ways you can challenge one another respectfully, but challenge ideas and raise bigger topics as you respond in the discussion board. And then in that first week, you also had a weekly reading and you had a discussion board. In the second week, which would have been the week of May the 29th, you were to submit your signature assignment questions, as well as you had another weekly reading and discussion board, but this time you responded either in a video or in an audio, and I'm in the process of grading those, and I'll have to say your responses are really nice. There's something about the spoken word or about being videoed. I think students tend to respond a little more freely, so thank you for that. Your signature assignment questions have been graded. There were some questions. Some of you said, wait a minute, Dr. Granger, I submitted 2 sets of questions. My apologies, I did not scroll down far enough. So if you think I gave you the grade in Canvas in error, just go back in and just send me an email. You should have 2 different sets of questions for 2 different people that you will interview for your signature assignment. The questions are different, maybe based on what they do. Even if you have 2 teachers, you want to think about how can you get the most information possible from those teachers. Then the week of June the 3rd, you had the Code of Ethics, the North Carolina Code of Ethics. There was like a form you were to respond. There were 3 different sections. This was actually due on June the 5th. It's been reopened. Quite a few of you have not submitted. I will allow you the opportunity to resubmit. However, you will not be able to earn full credit. So that brings us up to the week of June the 10th. Oh, let me go back to last week. So last week I had a 2-day meeting. I was kind of out of sorts with the internet. It was kind of sketchy. So yes, you read chapter 5 and 6. There was no discussion. I might circle back to that at a later time, but do not worry about a discussion for last week. That brings me to this week, which is June the 10th. There will be readings on chapter 7 and 8. I'm working on that. I've got the PowerPoints in both, and there will be some kind of response, your post, as well as a response to your peers. In this week, I would anticipate that you are working on interviewing your candidates for your signature assignment, either your teacher, your SIT team chair, principal, vice principal, teachers, colleagues, school psychologist. If you can't interview face-to-face, then call them up on the phone. I think it would be really easy to get this done. You're also working on your letter to yourself. Some of you had asked about that, and I am trying to pull that up. Give me just a second. So the guidelines for the letter to yourself, what I really want you to think about is an opportunity to reflect. So in the last discussion board, one of the questions talked about reflection, and we know that to be an effective educator, you really have to reflect on your practice. So think about experiences and express your views on good teaching. It should address what you believe to be the most important issues facing a new teacher and offer suggestions for how you might handle these. I realize some of you are very new in your career, so you may not know how to handle some of these challenges, but think about if you were writing a letter to yourself. One of the things that if I were writing a letter to a younger Karen Granger, and I think about where I was in teaching in 1996, I would have to talk about self-care. I don't think we talk enough about how we're taking care of ourselves as educators. And so that might be one of the things I might share in my letter to a younger Karen. You want to provide some examples. You want to provide some concrete situations. You can use your text. You can use other readings. There are some guidelines that are housed in Canvas. I did just kind of want to briefly talk about the letter. Someone said, how long should it be? I don't typically put a time limit on letters or assignments because I feel like that boxes you in. Do it thoroughly. Do it in a way that you feel like you have highlighted your authentic self as you were writing a letter to yourself.